Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Yogini Victoria. My name is Victoria, and I thank you all for coming back to get on the mat with me. We are going to do a nice heart opening class for Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is all about love, and heart opening is, a way of expanding your heart, expressing love for yourself and for others. So, this class, we will be doing a standing portion. We'll also wind down at the end on the ground. We will not be on our hands and knees like in a vinyasa class. We're not going to do any vinyasas. That is something we can do. So if you are interested in learning how to do a vinyasa or having vinyasas in a class, please comment and let me know. I'm always open to suggestions and feedback. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna get started in a standing upright position. And if you do have sensitive knees, you might want to grab a blanket, something nice and thick that will be supportive for the later portion of the class. And also, I highly encourage yoga blocks if you have them. If you don't have them, please consider grabbing a pair if you are going to begin practicing yoga regularly, which I hope you will. But yeah, you can get these anywhere. They're cheap. The ones that I have are foams and they were like $5 or something. But you could get cork ones, they have wooden ones. But please, I highly recommend investing in a pair of yoga blocks. So if you don't have yoga blocks or a blanket, that's fine. I'll offer modifications and things, but it definitely would make the practice a lot more accessible for everyone if you had those props. So with that said, we're going to get started just standing upright in mountain pose, which is maybe one of the most underrated yoga poses because it seems very simple, but it's a foundation really for all the other poses. So we're going to spread through the toes, and you could bring your big toes together, a little space in between the heels. Just ground through all four corners of your feet. So the pinky edge side, your big toe side, and then the right and left corners of your heels. And when you find that grounding through your feet, begin to hug the inner thighs towards each other, thighs spiraling outward. Your belly is engaged slightly, so your tailbone is lengthening down as your navel lifts towards the sky. Continue finding length through your ribs and your heart, your shoulders rolling back and down, palms face forward by your sides. So you want to keep feeling that energy of your legs hugging towards each other without actually moving. So your legs are really fired up here. Your neck is nice and long, your chin is parallel to the ground. And you can close your eyes here. Just take a few breaths, feeling the strength and power of this pose, the foundation of many other yoga poses. Just notice the quality of your breath as it flows in and out. If you want to take a few sighs out the mouth, you're welcome to do that. Inhale in through the nose, sigh it out the mouth. Inhale, sigh it out the mouth. Let's do one more for good measure. Inhale, sigh it out the mouth. All right. So let's take the fingertips and interlace them behind the back. You can open your eyes if you want to, or you can keep them closed. We're going to bring the heels of the hands towards each other, really rolling those shoulder blades back and down. They're hugging towards each other and just gently sending the gaze up. Just continuing to breathe. So we're not pushing through the low back or anything. The belly is still super engaged, the navel hugging up towards the sky, tailbone drawing down towards the ground. Legs are still magnetically pulled towards each other. We're really just finding this little mild back bend through the upper back. And let's exhale, release. Okay, so let's go to the top of the mat. I'm just going to do a few halves and salutations. So we're going to inhale, sweep the, too close to the wall. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Maybe take the gaze up. And exhale, draw the hands down through heart center and fold. And I really recommend taking the feet as wide as the mat here. And I also recommend bending the knees. My hamstrings are perpetually super tight, so I really need to bend my knees nice and deeply. And the blocks are nice because you can use them to support your hands a little bit here. So you can just draw the chin in towards your chest, let the crown of your head fall towards the earth. Really bending your knees, sending your tailbone up towards the sky. If you want to grab opposite elbow, just sway side to side. All right, and then let's heel toe the feet closer together so that they're hip width apart. And let's bend through the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, take the gaze up, and exhale, hands through heart center. Let's do that again. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, draw the heart through heart center and fold over the feet, maybe using those blocks. Inhale, halfway lift this time, flat back. So if your hamstrings are really tight, I encourage you to bend them, gentle bend. So this way you could really focus on finding a lot of length throughout your spine. Okay, and your gaze is straight down. Then exhale, fold over the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, draw the hands in through heart center. All right, so this time we're going to take the hands, interlace them behind the back like what we did before. The heels of the hands are drawn together, gently finding a little back bend. And then on your exhale, we're going to fold over the feet, sending the fist package up towards the sky. And you don't want to lose the integrity of the shoulders squeezing together here. Kind of pretend that you have a pencil or a jewel in between your shoulder blades, so you're really guiding them together, even with the hands up towards the sky. And just draw the chin in towards your chest. Knees can be generously bent. And let's exhale, release the hands back down to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring the hands onto blocks, or you could bring them onto your shins. And exhale, fold. Inhale, send the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, draw the hands in through heart center. Okay, great work. So now we're going to, let's start with, we're going to move into some standing poses. So let's start with warrior two. So it's going to take the feet nice and wide, and we'll begin with the right knee forward. So the right toes are, parallel to the long edge of the mat, and then your back heel is perpendicular. So your front heel is bisecting your back arch. And gently guide your right knee over towards your pinky toe side and begin to bend deeply into your front knee, seeing if you could find your top thigh parallel with the floor. Your hips are staying open here. Also be mindful you're not leaning forward or back. Keep your torso upright. And then once you find some strength and stability here, and also imagine that your legs are hugging towards each other to really send your torso up nice and long. And once you find that sensation, you could take your arms out to the side. They're also energetic, shoulders relax. You can take your gaze over towards your right hand. Just take a few breaths here, breathing into the sensations. And let's flip the right palm and sweep the arms up overhead, keeping the bend in the right knee, finding a stretch through the right side of the body. And exhale, come back through warrior two, and let's switch. So you can keep your legs as long of a stance as they are. We're just going to turn the left foot forward and the right heel is now perpendicular to your front foot. Okay, so if you find, I've noticed oftentimes when I'm teaching in classes, people might take a shorter stance, and I would encourage, if you notice that you're not bending into your knee as deeply as you could, try to take a longer stance to make sure that you're making room for a deep bend in your knee, even if you're up here. But I think it's better to have a really nice, long, powerful stance for this pose to practice the distance of the feet and eventually making it down to a more parallel thigh to the floor. So now we're going to gently guide the left knee over towards the pinky edge of your foot, keeping the torso lifted, tailbone lengthening down, shoulders relaxed, down and back. And then take the gaze over your left fingertips, taking a few breaths here in the strength of this pose. And let's flip the left palm and sweep the arm back, keeping the bend in the left knee. Inhale back through center. Okay, let's let's take a forward fold while we're here. So I'm just going to grab my blocks because I like to have them. So we're going to take the feet, toes maybe a little in, toes a little pigeon-toed here, so your big toes are coming in towards the center just a little bit so we can find a stretch through the outer shin. And let's take the hands in a fist package again, maybe opposite them on top, which is kind of the weird way. Drawing the heels of the hands together, belly engaged, tailbone drawing down. Send your gaze up towards the sky as your shoulder blades hug together with that precious jewel. And as you exhale, let's begin to fold. And maybe before we fold all the way, let's find a flat back, just sending your fist package up towards the sky. Taking deep breaths here. If this is too much for you, you're welcome to bring your hands down. It's a little bit of a challenge to keep your torso perpendicular to the ground. Keep those shoulders away from the ears. And then if you're okay here and you want to fold further, drawing your chin towards your chest, you can do that, or you can release the hands and just find your forward fold. As with most, if not all yoga poses, you're welcome to bend your knees here. I like to make sure that my low back is nice and straight. This is a really hard pose for me. Okay, let's inhale, halfway lift, bringing your hands onto your hips, and you'll rise up to stand. Excellent. Okay. That was some awesome work. I'm unexpectedly more tired than I was anticipating. Okay, so let's move into one more heart opening pose before we get into the peak pose I want to do. So we're going to take the right foot forward and then left foot back. So we're coming into a nice high lunge. If you have a difficult time balancing with your back heel lifted, just bring it on the ground. But I challenge you to try to keep your back heel lifted. Also be mindful to keep your knee over your heel and kind of eventually guiding this front top thigh parallel to the floor. Most importantly, though, is to draw the tailbone down, engaging your belly so you're not banana backing. Okay, so a lot of people's like hip flexors are very tight, including my own because I sit all day in a chair. So sometimes it might be nice to bend your back knee a little bit so you could find more length through your spine. Up to you. Okay, so your hips are both facing forward, so they're square to the front of the mat. And then if you want, you can bring your arms up overhead or you can keep them on your hips. Relax your shoulders down. Take a few breaths here. And then let's interlace the hands behind the back again, sending the fist package towards the back heel, finding that little back bend. And exhale, release. Great. Let's switch. Oop. Lost my balance. Okay. So we're taking the right foot back this time, left foot forward, adjusting, maybe bending your back knee if you need a little more space in your hip flexor here, making sure your front heel is over your front knee is over your heel and your hips are square to the front of the mat. Okay. And then if you want to send your arms up overhead, you can, or you can keep them on your hips. Just relax your shoulders down. And let's interlace the fingers, weird thumb on top, heels of the hands together, just gently guiding your fist package towards your back heel, finding that little back bend. And exhale, release. Great. Okay, so we're going to move onto the ground now. If you have sensitive knees, I encourage that you grab a blanket so you can support your knees. We're going to find camel pose, which is a really wonderful back bend because I think everyone can enjoy some version of it. So you're going to be on your knees, obviously. Like I said, if you need a blanket, just put it under your knees to support you. You want your knees to be hip width distance. And you also, the same integrity we've been finding in all our poses today, drawing the tailbone down, pulling the navel up towards the sky to find that engagement. You want to find that here. So one of the things I recommend in the beginning of the class, the blocks, it's a great opportunity to have them now So you can put them on the tallest height, like by your ankles or so, just to make this pose a little more accessible. So take your hands to your back pocket area, to help and guide your tailbone down. Draw your shoulders down and back. Begin to find that hugging sensation of the shoulder blades. And you can begin to send your gaze up towards the sky, finding that bend through the upper back. Be mindful that your hips are staying over your knees. So we're not beginning to lean back. We're keeping the hips where they are. We're only finding a bend through the upper mid back. And you can stay here, just breathing and noticing how this feels in your body. And on your next exhale, you can rise back up. I've never taught a back bend while doing a back bend, but it is really hard to teach while doing a back bend. So if I'm coming out of the pose, I'm not necessarily telling everyone to come out of the pose unless you need to, but it's just because I can't talk. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing again, and if you want to go a little bit further, you can bring your fingertips onto the blocks. If you are a well-seasoned yogi, you're welcome to bring your hands onto your heels. Okay, so find whatever version works for you. So again, lengthening the tailbone down, the thighs hugging towards each other to support you, beginning to send your back up towards the sky. And then I recommend, if you're going to reach back for the blocks, to do them at the same time. You can come up onto fingertips, keep hugging that heart together, keeping the hips over the thighs. And exhale, come back up. Okay, and let's sink the hips back. Let's take a child's pose. You could bring your knees wide or together and just begin to send your forehead down onto the ground. You could bring a block underneath your forehead. You can sit on a few pillows under your bum if you need that support. We've been doing a lot of heart opening though, so taking the knees together is a really nice way to support the low back right now. All right, and let's begin to make our way up to a seated position. And we'll conclude with the twist and then a few moments of silence. So the twist options, you can extend your, maybe I'll sit this way. You can extend your right leg out long, and then if you want to cross your left foot over your right thigh. If you want to take this pose a little bit deeper or further, you can draw your right foot towards your left hip. So you're like this. You want both sits bones on the ground. So if you find that if you bring your right foot in towards your glute, you're lifting up on your left hip, I encourage you to keep your right foot straight. Okay, so whatever version you take, both hips are firmly planted on the ground. You have a lot of length through the spine. We're going to inhale, send the arms up overhead, and exhale, turn towards the left. And you can hug your knee in towards your chest and maybe spiraling a little bit deeper, maybe even taking your gaze over your left shoulder. Inhale, finding more length through the spine, and exhale, twisting. And let's inhale back up through center and take a counter twist over towards the right side. Just a little gentle one. Inhale back up. Okay. And then let's do the other leg. So either left leg extended, crossing the right foot over the thigh, or you could bring your left foot in towards the glute. Whichever version works for you, as long as both hips are planted on the mat and your spine is nice and long. Inhale the arms up, and exhale, twist over towards the left, or I'm sorry, the right. And you're gonna hug the knee in towards your heart. Inhale, finding length, and exhale, twisting. Just taking a few breaths in and out through the nose. Inhale back through center. And let's take that little counter twist over towards the left. Inhale back up. Okay. Let's find a cross-legged position. If you want to sit on a block, you can do that. Rest your hands face down on your thighs. Close your eyes. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Just take a moment to reflect on your practice. To reflect on all that heart opening. To notice how it felt to physically expand through your heart. Notice if that had any impact on how your heart feels emotionally. Are you feeling more open to receiving love, or more open to giving love? Let's take the hands to the heart center, thumbs towards the chest. Thank you all for practicing with me. I really hope you will join me again. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me. If you enjoyed this, please like this video and feel free to leave a comment. You can also subscribe to my channel. And lastly, you can find me at yoginivictoria.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook at yoginivictoria. And if you want to continue this yoga practice with a really nice meditation, I highly recommend my loving kindness meditation, which I'm linking now, and it's a great way to really close out this practice with that heart opening theme. So I hope you all have a lovely Valentine's Day, and I hope you all express love for yourself and for others this Valentine's Day and every day. Thank you all again. Namaste.